Hi there, my name is Chris. I am a 40-year-old father of 4 who lives in Sussex, England, and I invest in UK stocks over the long term of 10-20 years. I am the creator of the FTSE Show, a YouTube show dedicated to the analysis of UK FTSE stocks. I'm also the author of 2 books, and I produce a weekly podcast called the Chris Chillingworth Podcast, all about investing in UK stocks. I also run the Sussex Investment Club, an online investment club for people wanting to invest in UK stocks. In 2020, I started on my journey to turn 4K into a whopping £1,024,867 over the next 23 years, investing in a selection of hand-picked UK stocks using a specific system of research and analysis that I've created. These videos are my ongoing account of that journey. So it's a new week. It is, I've got a lot of stuff going on this week. Next week I've got my kids around for the whole week, summer holidays, right? So I'm not going to get any work done. So this is the week where I need to be proactive, productive, get everything done. So yeah, it needs to be a productive week. I've got to get episode number 60 of the FTSE Show out. That's got to get done. We've got to get that out because I had a week with the kids. Then I was sick. Then last week I just didn't get it done. I got pretty much everything else done on that list, but I just didn't get. That's the one thing I didn't get done. So it needs to be pushed up the priority list this week, which is what we're going to do, and get episode number 60 out, which will be good. I have a seemingly growing list of companies now from the 54 stock watch list that have released annual reports over the last week or two. So these need updating. We have these deep dive reports. These are dedicated 3 to 4 page PDF reports on that particular company, giving our members of the Sussex Investment Club everything they need to know about that stock. Because it's so important that when you own a stock, when you own an investment, you know everything there is to know about it, or everything that's really important about that stock. So we're going to be doing that, and we need to update those. So they generally take, I can normally get 2 done a day. So hopefully we can get those all up to date this week. I think that's probably quite achievable. When Friday, we have the end of week report that needs to be going out, which I have to do every Friday. So that's the same every single week. Even when I have my kids, I still get that done. So that is a par for the course sort of thing. And yeah, we've got episode 6 of the podcast to get out as well. So it's going to be a busy week. I wanted to start off really quickly in this particular episode talking about something that isn't yet, as far as I'm aware, in the mainstream news, and that is these reports of a global food crisis, which apparently starts next month. We're going to start to really feel the effects of it next month, and some would argue that it's already started, and we're already starting to feel that now. What's happening? In a nutshell, probably want to do your own research on this. It will affect the markets, which is why I'm bringing it forward in this show. But it absolutely will have an impact, I believe. What's happening is essentially Ukraine produce a big chunk of food: wheat, barley, soybeans, oats. They had to stop their exports when Russia invaded. And so there was a big chunk of worldwide crop yield that just didn't make it out there. And the vast majority of Ukraine's food exports go to North Africa and the Middle East. As a result of that, these countries in North Africa and the Middle East, we're talking Egypt, Sudan, Tunisia, countries in that region, many of them, Namibia I think as well. These countries have major food supply issues right now. They don't have the food supplies for the end of 2022 or 2023. The UN are reporting now that they expect all of these countries to reach famine level by the end of 2022, which is a pretty big statement. I mean, in my lifetime, I can think of a couple of countries that have been in that famine status. Famously, was it the early 90s of Ethiopia? I remember growing up and seeing a lot of that on the TV. We're talking now the majority of North Africa and the Middle East suffering from famine. So that's a big deal. And these countries are struggling to find food to import because of the shortage that's been generated from the Ukraine. And these countries are trying to import food from other locations, such as Argentina. The problem with that is that freight costs have gone up astronomically. This means that these countries, whilst they can import from Argentina, they can't afford to import anywhere near enough food that they need. On top of this, the US Department of Agriculture have recently released their data that show that crop yields worldwide are down. We're talking rice, barley, oats, grain, wheat. They're all down. And this just adds another layer of complexity to the issue, because at a time when you need the crop yields to be at their highest to compensate for the surplus that is going around, we're actually seeing reducing crop yields. So it's bad timing in that respect. So we have this kind of melting pot of all these little disasters that are happening. What's going to happen, they believe, is that when these countries reach famine status, it's going to cause mass migration into Europe. That's going to increase inflation in those countries. That's going to increase pressure on these countries as people flock from North Africa and the Middle East into Europe. What the impact that's going to have on the UK isn't that we're going to reach famine status. We produce a plenty of food in this country to be able to survive. But it will mean that the price of imported food is going to be astronomical. And the problem with the UK is that when you go around the supermarkets and you look at a lot of the labels, a lot of stuff comes from abroad. We import a heck of a lot of food. I mean, just think of all the fruits that you would look at and see the different countries they come from. And so food prices are going to increase. When UK residents then start to flock to the cheaper options out there, this is going to reduce supply. And what happens when demand increases and supply falls? Prices go up. And so we're going to see a widespread mass increase in food prices in the UK. They predict that this is going to really kick in sort of end of 2022, beginning of 2023. We're already starting to see this, but we're starting to see famine status begin to appear in certain African countries. Tunisia, the people that I've spoken to who live in Tunisia that are reporting that you can't buy sugar and you can't buy flour over there right now. You go into the shops in Tunisia and it's just not available. And so it's starting to happen over there. You're seeing a lot of people trying to bake bread using tapioca, and that has become to the point where they can't afford to buy it anymore. So it's available, but it's very expensive. And that is the start of the whole process, essentially. And so we're going to see increased levels of inflation. Energy prices are tipped to go up again in January. Food prices are definitely going to increase. There's going to be global famine in multiple countries across North Africa and the Middle East. And it's going to be a difficult time. What will that do to the markets? I have no idea. I honestly couldn't tell you. I honestly don't know what impact that will have. But It's something to be mindful of, something that is coming, something that is happening as we speak. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on getting some analysis done, because I don't want to fall behind on that. And then tomorrow is going to be dedicated to recording episode 60 of the FTSE show, and maybe even get episode 6 of the podcast done in the same day. That would be pretty awesome. So that could be a nice little target, a nice little goal. But today we're going to focus on getting some analysis completed. I've got a couple of companies from the watch list that we need to look at. And I also want to take a look at Moonpig. Moonpig are a company that produce greetings cards. They're online based, as far as I'm aware. And they floated in 2020. We've now got the third year of annual report released. So we're going to take a quick look at them. They may even turn into a FTSE show episode. Depends on what we find, if it's interesting enough to see what's going on at Moonpig. Early indications suggest that they are doing pretty well. So we'll take a look into them as well. For example, I've come in today, and part of my routine and what I do is I load up TradingView. I have it all set up exactly how I want it, with my 54 stocks on one side, so I can just get a very quick visual view of what's going on. First of all, if I log in and I see a company has dropped a dramatic amount, then I know I'm going to get some emails from my members that day asking what's going on, what's happening with the stock. And so it makes sense for me to preempt that by looking into it myself and looking into why has that stock gone down. Equally, last week we had a stock that went up 45% on news of a takeover. And so again, people asking, well, why has this gone up 45% today? Great news, but why? And so it's a case of just checking and seeing if anything abnormal is happening. Today's a red day. A red day basically means that the vast majority of the 54 stocks that I follow are down. But not all of them. We've got a couple of stocks in there that are up 5% today, which is generally a fairly big jump for one day. But we've also got the vast majority that are down about 0.5 to 1% for the day, which is very standard, very normal. There's no big important talking points in there at all. But yeah, that's all I really do. So it's just to keep an eye on seeing if anything big is going on out there that may lead to questions that might come at some point during the day or the week from members. Otherwise, the only other reason I will look at this is on a Friday when I write my weekly report and we do all our pricing analysis on the 54 stocks. And so that is an updated once a week list of the 54 stocks that we are following and watching, and how their prices have changed over the week, and what does that mean regarding the price. Is it a bargain now? Is it still overpriced? Has it become overpriced since being a bargain? It allows members to know where they stand with these stocks, and it gives them the information they're going to need, so that if they're in a position where they want to put, let's say, £500 or £1,000 to work this month, they know which of the 54 stocks they like, and of those, which of them are priced at a level that makes sense to buy at right now, because vast majority of them are overpriced. And there are stocks in here that I would love to own, absolutely love to own, but they're just overpriced, and I'm not going to overspend on an investment. It's like you could have this wonderful house that you would love to own and you would love to rent out and turn into an investment, but it's 80 grand overpriced for what it is. Are you going to take the investment? Probably not. You're probably going to look for a better deal, and that's what we do. There are a number of stocks in this list that I would love to own, but I don't own any shares in yet, because since I found the company and identified them as a wonderful growth stock, their shares have always been overpriced. And so I don't own any shares in that company right now. And that is the point of a watch list. It's to keep an eye on these companies so that when prices do one day fall to a level that makes sense, we can dive in and we can buy up as many as we can afford. And we've done that on numerous occasions. So that is the only reason why I kind of check prices. I'm certainly not going to be sitting here looking at this all day. There is absolutely no point in doing that. I'm going to crack on now. I'm going to get on with some analysis. But I'm looking at the weather outside today. It's absolutely glorious. And if there's any perks to running your own business and company, it's got to be that you can go outside and enjoy the sun. If there's any perks to living on the beach on the Sussex coast, it's got to be that you can head to the beach whenever you flipping well want. So I feel like I'm going to take a book. I've just started this list of the 100 most important books to read before you die. And I really wanted to up my reading, and I decided I want to hit this list and get through a lot of these books. And so finding the time to read is the trickiest aspect of the whole thing, and the motivation to read as well. I feel like what would be a cracking idea is to go out and sit in the sunshine, buy myself a nice drink, refreshing cool drink, go and sit on the beach and read a book. So I'm going to earn that today. I'm going to do as much analysis as I can, and I'm going to get outside and enjoy that aspect of my life. I spent many years working for other people, doing different things, doing jobs that I hated for people that I didn't respect, doing work that I had no interest in, working in places I didn't want to be. And I spent what felt like the vast majority of my life so far doing that. And in the end, I got quite sick of the process, and I actually had quite a stressful job that made me feel quite ill, quite sick, and had a number of physiological effects on me, my body. I was getting migraines. The redness that you see on my forehead is something that was stress-induced that's never gone away. So things like that were happening to me. And in the end, I jacked it all in. And I started up my own business. Now, this wasn't the first time I started up my own business. I'd started up many businesses over the years. And it had been that kind of entrepreneurial spark had always been there. I'd always been wanting to work for myself. I always struggled to work for other people. I always wanted my own business, my own thing. I didn't want to work for other people and, take a paycheck every month and, thank you so much. And I wanted to be the one giving out the paychecks. And that was just a goal and an ambition of mine from probably as young as 20 years old. And it took me until I was 30, 31, 32 before I eventually found something that worked. And over the years that has evolved into what I'm doing today, which is essentially my membership group, adding value by using my research and analysis expertise and experience, I suppose, and helping people to actually make money on the markets when many of them struggled to have ever been able to do that before. And I built the business in a particular way, and I didn't do this first off. I learned as I went, but I learned pretty quickly I didn't want to be doing coaching calls. Coaching calls I used to do till 11 p.m. in the evening, or nearly midnight in some cases, because a lot of people were working 9 to 5s and weren't available until after 7 or 8 p.m. to do the calls, and so I had to be available after 7 or 8 p.m. to do those calls. I would allow people to block out my calendar and book themselves in, and then I would be sitting here like a mug at 11 p.m. and people just wouldn't show up. And I remember thinking to myself, this isn't how I wanted it to be. This isn't how I intended to build my business. And as my kids got older, it became apparent to me that it was really important that I build a business that allowed me to live the lifestyle I wanted to live. to have the flexibility to do what I want to do when I want to do it, to make enough money for me to live the life I want to lead. And I don't need a lot of money, and whilst I am relatively money driven because of what I do, and I want to, I'm going to be turning 4K into 1,024,867,000. So absolutely 100%, I am somewhat driven by money. It would be a lie to say otherwise, and I've always loved making money. It wasn't the primary drive for the way I built the business. I've left a heck of a lot of money on the table by not doing certain things, by refusing to do certain things, in exchange for having the lifestyle that I want and for the rules to be how I want them to be. And I'm very happy with the way it's done now, the way it's all set up. It's working beautifully, and it's exactly what I wanted out of my own business. And there's plenty of scope for growth over the years, and that's something that I'll be looking into. But today, I'm sitting at home, I'm working on the computer, I'm analysing stocks, the sun is amazing outside, and I just had this moment of just, what are you doing? Why are you sitting here analysing stocks in the daytime when you can do this tonight? Why am I? Because the alternative is, essentially what I could have been doing, and what I usually do, is I'll work during the day, I'll miss the fun, I'll miss the beautiful weather, I'll finish at 6-7 p.m, and then I'm stuck indoors for the evening, or I'm unable to enjoy the weather because it's done, it's over, it's dark. And so I thought, what am I doing? Why don't I go and enjoy the weather, have an awesome lazy day for me? I don't take any holiday. I haven't had a holiday in 5 years, maybe. I never take holiday. It's just not something I don't do. So I thought, why not go down the beach today, read a book, get your hair cut, spend the day to yourself, and then work this evening when the sun's gone. So that's what I've done. And I spent today on the beach having a very nice day. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and there is something about getting the rays of the sun on your skin and being out and about in that weather that just perks you up, and it worked for me. I feel great. I feel great having been outside on the beach all day. I don't feel fatigued. I feel full of energy, and yeah, I don't know, I just feel really good. And so I'm sitting down this evening, and I'm working on the analysis, which I've done now. I've completed that. We were looking into a company that are already on the watch list, and the latest annual report has come out. We've gone through that annual report. This is a company that have made an increase in revenue of 20% this year, and their profits are up 18% this year. So very good year for their reports. Volume of units that they've sold this year are up 10%. So the volume of what they're selling has gone up as well. They're doing a massive share buyback scheme, which we love. The reason why we love share buybacks is because it reduces the number of shares that are currently out there on the market, which essentially will raise demand for the ones that are still outstanding. So you're reducing supply, you're increasing demand. What is that going to do to the share price? Well, if you understand the laws of economics, you'll know that probably will cause share prices to go up. So we love that. They are... The future of the business looks really good. They're expecting to see another 600 million new customers coming through over the next 10 years. And they've done a heck of a lot of investment in different parts of the world, in different sections of their business over the world for future expansion, which is a really good sign from a business. If they're pumping what is essentially nearly $1 billion of their own money into expansion, it means that the guys inside the business that know exactly what's going on are 100% expecting more capacity, more growth, exciting things. Otherwise, they wouldn't be investing the money to build new factories, to build new premises, to be increasing capacity in different areas of the country. So that's another really good sign. So all in all, it's been a really interesting year for this particular stock. I'm going to be writing up my report. I'm probably going to do that in the morning now because it is getting late. But I'm going to write my report in the morning and update it with the latest year's worth of data. So we'll bring out a new updated deep dive report for our clients. That will go out to them probably tomorrow. And it's another company ticked off the list of deep dive updates that I needed to get done. And we just keep churning through them, just keep doing them. There's a number of other companies that are due this month. I've gone through half of them and none of them have released their annual reports yet. So it's premature at the moment. I can't look at those right now. So we're just going to wait for those annual reports to come out. Sometimes they don't often announce the exact day those reports are coming out, so it's a case of having to check every now and again throughout the course of the month to see if that report is out, and as soon as it is, we jump on it. So I'm going to wrap it up. It has been a productive day, both mentally and with work. We probably could have got more done work-wise, but I'm quite happy with how things are going. We've still got more days left of the week to crack on and get everything else done. I've got no worries about any of that at all. I will work until 2 in the morning if I have to get a job done. So I have the hours ahead of me to do it. I also have no kids this week. So if I want to work till 2 in the morning, I can. If I need to, I will. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this series is adding some value. If you're enjoying it, please like the video, please subscribe, and leave a comment, say hi. That'd be awesome. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.